Coming up now on Animal Outtakes, the hardest decision pet owners have to make. How do you know when or if it's time to say goodbye? We're learning about a nonprofit who helps pet owners and their animals in the greatest time of need.
It's all about the pets being home and being comfortable with dignity at the end.
And we wondered what's really on the other side of the Rainbow Bridge. Are our precious pets really there, waiting for us? We speak with psychic Michael Bodine on what he believes about pets and the afterlife.
Yeah, I believe it's the soul of the animal. Animals tend to be all more about love and devotion, and I just believe that they stay.
Plus, as your pet ages, what to expect during a senior visit. This and much more straight ahead on Animal Outtakes. If you've been around long enough and are a pet owner, you know all too well the pain of losing your beloved friend. It can be a tough topic to talk about, something you push back to the back of your mind. But instead of avoiding the inevitable until it's too late, we want to introduce you to a resource in our community called Sugar's Gift. It's a nonprofit whose sole mission is to help your pet cross the Rainbow Bridge with comfort, dignity, and peace. Nikki, we're here with you today in this idyllic setting. Isn't this beautiful?
Thank you. It's very peaceful.
And we're going to learn about Sugar's Gift. Tell us the beginnings.
Okay. I'll tell you how we started. It's named after Sugar, who was my little Yorkie soulmate. She was our first dog. And in 2013, she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in September of 13. And they told me she would have 3 months to live, but she only lived for a month. And I slept on the floor with her every night, and she never cried. We tried chemo, we did sub-Q fluids, we did everything. And the morning of October 18th, she pushed on me with her little paws and she started to cry. And I knew that we had to do it that day. It was so hard because, sometimes you let it go a little bit too long.
We do it for us.
We do it for us, I know, and that's selfish, really. And I think they stay around for us a lot of times too, because they know we want them. So we called her vet, her only vet of 10 years. The day before, Ken actually called him and said, we're gonna need you soon because it's about time. And he doesn't live that far from us. So he said, just let me know and I'll come out. Well, the next day on that Friday when she cried, Ken called in the morning and he said, well, you'll have to bring her in to get an IV put in. And he said, we can't do that. She's so painful she can't move and we can't even pick her up. And he said, well, I'll just try to come by after work. And then he called about an hour beforehand and said, I'm just too busy, I don't have time, find somebody else. And it was heartbreaking, I mean, really. And so we called somebody and it cost they came that night, it was $1,200, which is a lot of money, not including aftercare, which is cremation or whatever. And the next morning we woke up and I said to Ken, this is never going to happen to anybody else. So fortunately I'm a CPA, so with my background I've formed nonprofits. So I decided to form the nonprofit within 5 days of her death so I could date it the date of her death. So anyway, so we started Sugar's Gift, and we didn't really I did the website, I tried to get started with everything. Took a couple of years to get the nonprofit. Sure. And then I was ready to roll it out in January of 16, and on February 16th I fell and I suffered a severe traumatic brain injury. So it took me 2 years to get through rehab. And after that, we started Sugar's Gift in 2018. We've helped a lot of animals here. And what we do is people will call us, we help terminally ill pets. So we bring a vet to the home to do in-home euthanasia for them if they're terminally ill. And that's a broad range. It can be elderly pets or pets with cancer. And then we provide the vet to come to their home. And then we also provide a private cremation. And we have urns that are made specifically for us, beautiful urns. And when the pets are ready, I pick them up at the crematory and I deliver them back to the owner with a picture frame and a memory book. At no cost, I'm sorry, at no cost to the pet owner. No cost. Yep.
So you help with that transition.
The transition, the journey to the journey to the Rainbow Bridge.
You help people really through the transition.
We do.
Because the dogs, as you said, tell us really when it's time. And if we're listening and if we're so tuned in, we'll get the message.
Sure.
But to do this for nothing, for no remuneration.
Right.
So how are you subsidized?
How are we surviving?
Yeah, how are you doing it?
Well, usually we gratefully accept donations. And most of the pet owners, honestly, probably 90% give us something. So a lot of people, it doesn't matter how much income you have, we don't do income eligibility. If you don't have anything or you have money, we don't care. It's all about the pets being home and being comfortable with dignity at the end. And for the people, like you said, because it's more peaceful for them as well.
How does this affect you?
Oh, I'll tell you, it's honestly, let me start crying. I don't go to too many of the euthanasias because it just brings back all the memories. Sorry.
That's okay. It's all right.
It just brings back, they're all like my own. When I talk to somebody, I have a director of marketing now, Sue Vipond, who answers the phone calls, and she schedules everything, but I do go to some of those, the euthanasias, because I want to meet the people. And every time I go, they feel so much better. But I don't want to get in the way of the veterinarian and the people either.
Yes.
But I always deliver the ashes, because I want to have that personal touch with everybody, even if I haven't met them or talked to them yet.
Sometimes we just wait too long, and we're doing it for us.
Right.
Really, we should be doing it for the dog or the animal, but what kind of advice would you be giving all of us? What should we be thinking of? Because we know this is inevitable.
It's inevitable, you're right. I would say that you mentioned waiting too long. Most people do, at least once, and usually it's with their first pet or their little soulmate, whomever that is. I would say you need to think about the quality of life for your pet, because if he or she is not eating, they're not drinking, they're going through some seizures, which is not a good thing. You need to think about where they are. Sometimes, again, they stay around for us, and we want them to pass before it gets to a really, really bad place. We see so many animals that have they're so emaciated, and you don't want your last memory to be seeing your pet like that. So I would advise people that we have on our website, we have a quiz that people can take to help them decide if it's time or not. And that whether it's time, that's a real hard decision for anybody to make. But if you go through that, it really does give them some insight. And we have to have usually 3 to 4 days notice. So we're not an emergency. So if somebody needs to have it done right away, we always urge them to go to the animal ER. Cheryl Brady has VetCare Express.
Yes.
She can pick them up and take them if they can't transport, if they're big dogs or people are homebound. So my advice would be not to wait until the very last minute. Do this, be a peaceful transition so that your memories of that pet are not a bad memory. Noodles.
And Noodles agrees.
Noodles. This is thanks to Noodles, by the way.
Yeah.
I love animals and I can't help it.
It's interesting what you said is don't wait too long.
Yeah.
And so they will tell you also.
Absolutely.
If we're tuned into them, they're going to give us a little bit of a
It's an excellent point, because I tell people that your dog or your cat or your pet, they will let you know when they give you that look. There's a look, and it's just a pleading look like, Mom, please don't let me go on like this.
I'm tired.
I'm tired. I want it to be over. And then I've heard that from a lot of our pet owners that we help. So I hope, if anything, please just don't wait too long to give us a call or your vet or whomever. A lot of people are crying on the phone with us, men and women, and I love that, because to me, they're telling me how much they love their pet. And I always tell people, please I tell them on the phone, don't be embarrassed by crying, because that's telling us how much you are. It's hard to, what I tell them too is, one of the hardest things I know you've had to do is pick up the phone to call us.
Yes.
That's always that's the hardest thing to do. Once we get into when we tell them what we do, it becomes a little bit easier, but just picking up the phone and making that decision is the hardest thing. Yeah. This year we're really getting very, very busy. We have about 10 to 15 calls a day.
Oh my.
Which is a lot. And so we're looking for vets out there. So we need a lot of more mobile vets and people that will help us.
Sure.
But we do pay the vets, we do pay the crematory, we pay for everything. We just don't charge the pet owners. There's a quote by Mark Twain I have on my bottom of my email that says there are 2 important days in your life. One is the first is the day you're born. The next is the day that you realize why you're here. And I feel like that's why I'm here. It's for Sugar.
For more information on Sugar's Gift, you can go to their website, sugarsgift.org. And now, we'd like to introduce you to another group who can help you in your time of need, VetCare Express.
When your four-legged best friend needs help right away, Cheryl Brady and her team are ready to go. Cheryl owns and operates VetCare Express, an animal ambulance service.
We're 24/7, and what we'll do is we kind of talk through, okay, well, what's going on? How long has it been going on? What are the symptoms? Because there are some cases where, our concern is for the dog, is about them getting the quickest, most proper care. We're going to Lakewood Ranch Animal Hospital.
It's a dream built out of tragedy after getting a panic call from a friend.
All of a sudden the phone rings, and a friend of mine had hit a dog with her car. And I rushed to the scene, and the whole time I'm thinking, how can I help the dog? How can I help my friend? Unfortunately, the dog had been killed on impact, and Animal Services had already taken it away. Right when I'm leaving at the end of the street, I'm like, well, where's the closest animal hospital? Where would I have taken it? How would I have picked it up properly? And literally light bulbs started going off.
Cheryl already had much of the training she needed, working as a veterinarian technician in college while taking pre-vet courses, and even logging time as a volunteer firefighter. She's even a certified CPR instructor for animals and humans.
We get calls from owners, we get calls from veterinary clinics. Basically, whatever the need is, we're there to fill it.
So you handle dogs.
We handle dogs, cats, anything that's containerized. We've had squirrels, we've had guinea pigs, we've had iguana. We had a huge iguana because the iguana was sick. It was at home. Its tail alone was probably close to 3 feet long. He had his environment in his home, but the owner couldn't transport him. We have a full-size oxygen tank, H-tank, just the same that's in a human ambulance here. But what we have here are pet oxygen masks. We have regulators in a couple of different spots throughout the ambulance, but these are pet oxygen masks. And we have a full set of pet oxygen masks, so if we have smaller pets, we have ones that fit their nose as well. I see this evolving just like human ambulances had evolved, we're so thankful to be able to help in the way that we have. We've touched so many lives, we have so many doggy friends now, but the way that it's touched people's lives is, it's amazing. We get to do that every day, and we're so thankful for that.
Coming up next on Animal Outtakes, we hear what psychic Michael Bodine has to say about the afterlife and your pet. We'll be right back.
These last few months have been challenging for everyone, especially me. I've walked many, many miles. I learned new tricks. I lost my afternoon nap time. I've stayed up many nights watching movie after movie after movie. I'm suffering from cabin fever. I'm in need of a renewed spirit.
Dantes Den is the perfect boarding solution for your dog, whether it's an overnight, short, or extended stay. Dantes offers the convenience, amenities, and overall luxury your pet is seeking. Spacious, air-conditioned dens have private patios, overlooking scenic pool and lakeside views, a sparkling pool with fountains to play in, surrounded by chaste loungers and a staff that will cater to their every wish. To make a boarding reservation for your pup, call us at 941-219-3730. Often when you lose a pet you love, it's followed by an indescribable kind of grief. And sometimes you are left with questions that can't always be answered. And so we reached out to psychic Michael Bodine to find out where he thinks our beloved pets really go after they pass. Just this side of heaven is a place called the Rainbow Bridge. When your special pet dies, this is where they go. If they were ill or just old, they're restored to health and vigor. And if they were hurt or maimed, they're made whole and strong again, just as we remember them. They're happy and they're content. And then one day, They look into the distance and they spot you and you run together, meet and you kiss again. And that's when you cross the rainbow bridge together. Today we're here with professional psychic Michael Bodine, who's going to let us know, is this really true?
Hi, Marcia.
Hi, Michael.
Yes, it is true. In what I do a lot of like ghost bustings, and I do a lot of cleaning houses, and one of the biggest things that I do is people claim to see their animals. People that animals that have passed, even animals that have passed like 20 years ago, they'll see them. And in my house, I have a cat that lived for 20 years, and a dog that lived for 20 years, and we see them all the time. We see them constantly, and it's not a big deal. It's just that you look down, all of a sudden you'll see him, and then you'll look again, and he's not there.
But how do you see them? Are they the way you remember?
Yeah.
Or is this a ghost?
It's the funniest thing. You know how when your pet's there, like if your dog's there, and it brushes by you, you just know it. Even if you're not looking at the dog, you know the dog's there. And it's that kind of thing with like a dog spirit. It's like the dog's there. You can feel the dog, but you look down, you maybe see a shadow, but then it's gone. And people, that's why I get a lot of calls, because some people think they're going nuts, because they see their dog, they wonder if they're just missing them and if they're trying to just manufacture them in their head, that kind of stuff. But I can't tell you how many calls I get on that, and how many times I've seen it, and we have pictures of dog spirits, just waiting for their master, I guess. And it's not every dog. It's the dogs, I think, or the cats that you connect with, But it's so normal.
Well, let me ask you this. Sometimes dogs pass away, cats also.
Yeah.
And after they pass, they're not there. But you hear them moving their bowl.
Yeah.
You hear the jingling of their collar.
Yep.
What is that?
Well, okay, so a lot of people believe that that's the actual soul of the animal. There's some debate about it. Some people just think you're making it up in your head, but it's so real that, like when it's happened to me, and it still happens a lot. I'll be laying there, or I'll be doing something, and I know my cat's there. I just know it. I'm not thinking about, geez, I miss my cat. I wish I was here. He was here. I just know he's there. It's what I believe. I believe it's the soul of the animal. I think that the soul is, animals tend to be all more about love and devotion, and I just believe that they stay.
And at Dantes Den, we hear it every day. Somebody comes in for a new dog. Why? Because their dog died.
Yeah.
But they want to see the dog again. We don't hear about the spouse. What does that tell you? But they want to see the dog again. Is this normal?
Yeah, dogs and cats connect with people more than humans do. I had a husky that I absolutely loved, and his name was Mac, and this was like 20 years ago, and I still just it just kills me. But when Mac died, I was walking him, and a car hit him, and I took him to the hospital, and he had so many internal injuries that he died. But I don't cry over anything. My mom died. I mean, I was sad, but we had worked our stuff out, and it was like it made sense. And I've had friends die, but when my dog got killed, I cried for 5 days straight. I couldn't stop crying. I mean, I couldn't stop crying.
You're still emotional, because I can see it building up in you.
I love that dog. I love that dog with everything in my heart.
And so when they say that we're going to meet together, I've had a lot of personal dogs.
Yeah.
But I've also helped a lot of dogs in my life.
Yeah.
Are they all going to come rushing?
No, well,
I'd like that.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I think it's the people or the dogs that you connect with the most, that you have that bond, because you have that bond with certain dogs or, animals. And I think they do. I know they do. I've seen it time after time after time. They stick with you, and they can't wait for you to be with them again. They're more excited than you are, because they know that they're going to see you again. You don't necessarily know it because some people don't believe in it, some people do, and blah, 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 but they know, and they're excited.
So I think there's hope.
Well, yeah, well, yeah. It's funny what happens when you pass, because a lot of things become clear. And that's one of the things that becomes clear.
So now we have the answer. Stay with us. Welcome back. So now that we got some of the hard stuff out of the way, we wanted to get some advice on how to best help your pets through their senior years. Dr. Greg Greiner joins us to discuss what should happen on a visit with a senior dog. So here we have Joey, Dr. Greiner. He's 9.5 years old, soon to be 10. He is a purebred Basset Hound, and he is my boy. And what are you feeling here? What should we expect when we bring Joey to you?
The first thing we like to do, if they're of reasonable size, is get them up on the table. It kind of isolates them a little bit, but it makes it much easier for us to do a physical examination on him. And the first thing that I always do is communicate with you, the owner. How's he been feeling? Get a history on him, any vomiting, diarrhea, any urinary problems. And normally, as I'm talking to the owner, who would normally be on the other side of the table from me, as I'm petting him, I'm actually feeling all of his lymph nodes. Does he have any skin tags, any lumps or bumps anywhere that I should be aware of? And at Joey's age right away, the first thing I see is that he's got a little cloudiness in his eyes. That happens to all of us, humans as well. The center of the lens of the eye continues to grow and slowly push outward till the day you die, but it's covered by a very tough capsule which won't stretch to accommodate it. So it gets harder and harder and a little bit cloudy, and that's why you need bifocals when you start to get to be my age.
What do we do with Joey?
Dogs have very poor near vision to begin with. Their eyes are meant for hunting and seeing moving objects in the distance. So they're fine with that. And even a young dog, you'll notice, if something is up close, they don't just walk up to it, they sniff for it. They really rely on their other senses besides their vision. So he may need bifocals if he's going to go driving, yeah. But other than that, he'll be okay.
Now, with a Basset Hound, he has these huge soulful eyes, but also the dropped lids, and it worries me. What about his eyesight? Is this something that's going to progress with age, something that I have to do, or just let him grow old?
Let him grow old. He does have a little tiny growth on his lower eyelid. It's a very benign little oil gland tumor. And if he were my dog, at some point when I knocked him out to clean his teeth or some other procedure, I would just take that off as a cosmetic procedure. His teeth, we always give a dental grade, 1 through 4. 1 is like you're a puppy, you got almost nothing on your teeth. 4 is you have trench mouth. And he is about a grade 2. And that's the point at which we start thinking that might need to have his teeth cleaned.
Okay. And about 2 months ago, we noticed that he was having a lot of difficulty walking. He might be a little chunky, but not so much. But we noticed that there was a hindrance here for him to walk, and it would get to the point where he would go out to do his business and then just stop. Is this typical? Is he at the right age for what you might say arthritis, and what do we do about it?
It is, and it's somewhat genetic based and breed based. Obviously with these guys, we put probably about a 50-pound dog on probably 10-pound dog legs. So they're very prone to getting arthritis. You can see also that his feet toe way out. That's part of his, called chondrodysplasia in this breed. We treat them just like we do humans with arthritis. If you're having a bad day, you take an anti-inflammatory for it. We try to restrict the amount of drugs that we give them. And there is a whole array of pain management that we have in our armamentarium now, including things like acupuncture and herbs.
Well, that sounds wonderful.
Nutritional supplements, all kinds of options for you.
And so you would say on the quick couple of minute investigation, how's my Joey?
Wonderful. I love these.
And we'll be right back.
Animal Outtakes is produced by Dantes Den Foundation, a nonprofit group dedicated to creating the best life for dogs. If you would like to learn more about Dantes Den, donate, or volunteer, visit our website, dantesden.org.
We hope you had fun and learned a thing or two along the way. And we'll be back here again next week with even more animals and intriguing encounters. Until then, thanks for watching.